What's up guys? Welcome to another speed build. Today we are over in Newcrest and I am building a traditional suburban style home, and I was really trying to aim to keep the colors, at least on the outside of this build, pretty earthy. You'll see a lot of this dark brick, which I love this dark brick. I don't use it nearly enough as I would like to. There's sometimes you use this dark brick and it just doesn't work very well with the other colors you're choosing, but these colors that I chose here for this house, I think it works so good with each other. So we have that dark brick. We also have this light green for the paneling, and then the window color, I chose this like brown or beige, maybe tan, and I don't use that color like ever, so this color combination is completely new for me, at least as far as I can remember. I really don't have that great of a memory, so bear with me if I have used this color scheme before, but I really want to say that this is the first time I'm using these three colors together in the manner that I'm using them. I currently have, I did just change it. I was about to say I currently have the brick on both the first story and the second story of the left side of the build, but I do end up changing that a little bit like I did here. I kept the brown on the bottom for pretty much the whole build, and there's a little portion of it that has the green paneling like where the door is. I thought it was a nice detail to change it from the brick to the paneling. I don't know, just little details like that really make or break a build. I feel like it really makes a huge difference. So this might come to a surprise for some of you. I did not include a garage on this build, which that is something I do quite often, or almost always. I always seem to include a garage. I just love the way that they look. I love the realistic aspect that it gives. It's fun to sometimes not include them and just make a big old house, you know? Well, not old, but you guys know what I mean. Instead of a garage, I actually decided to kind of make, I don't really know what kind of detail you would explain that as, but you can see it on the left side of the build. I'm trying to explain that little area. So I have like a half circular window at the very top, which is not really a room, it's there for decoration. And then I placed a roof piece directly under it, and then 3 windows on the wall facing the actual like inside of the house. And then I put like columns on both sides of the windows, and I painted that part a different color than either the brick or the green paneling. I actually made it like, it's either white or no, I think it's very, very light beige, and it's like a vertical paneling instead of a horizontal paneling. Yeah, I'm trying my best to explain what exactly I did there. I mean, you guys can see it obviously, but I still felt the need to explain it a little bit. I really love the way that it looks, and then I put lights on both sides of like the brick part, and I just think it makes it look super detailed and super nice. And by the way guys, you probably have noticed already, but I am still using this like terrible sounding mic. I don't know, like when I'm editing it sounds terrible, but then like if I watch it back it doesn't sound as bad. I really don't know. I'm still gonna get a new mic because there's something about it I just don't like. It picks up way too much background noise, which I guess some people say that means it's a good mic. I feel like it's not a good mic if it picks up all this background noise. And so if you hear cats little feet pitter-pattering or a meowing that you probably hear in the background at the moment, yeah, those are my cats, and they are very, very hyper this morning, like they always are. I don't know what to say. Just please ignore it. I am working to get another mic. I just haven't been able to get to the store yet, and I really want to go and look at it with my own eyes and not just order it online. You guys know what I mean? Like, yeah, it is very convenient to order online, but it's also not as easy to order online as it is to just look at it in person, I've come to realize, because I used to be like a huge online ordering queen. That was all I did at my last house, because in Plant City we just didn't have very many shopping options, and the ones that we did have honestly, I despised them. So I have a lot more options at this new place, so I'm definitely going to start taking advantage of it. Well, I already have taken advantage of it. I'm going to continue taking advantage of it and going in person. And also, something that is super strange is the fact that Amazon, even if you have Amazon Prime, it takes like 5 to 7 days to get your items off of Amazon. And I was in shock when I found that out, because I am a huge Amazon person. I know that's probably not good to say, but it's just super convenient. I don't know what else to say about that. But now that it's going to take a week, it's not convenient at all anymore. So I'm probably not even going to need my Amazon Prime membership anymore. So, I mean, I guess I'll cross that bridge in a little bit. I'll keep it around for right now because I'm using the cable that comes with it. But yeah, lots of changes when you move. Lots of changes that you did not see coming. And by the way, if you buy a brand new house, which is what me and my husband did, you know, you don't have to worry about anything breaking down on you, which is nice. You have like warranties for 10 years, which is like amazing. No complaints whatsoever there. But you have other obstacles you have to cross. Like you have to register your mailing address with the post office. So I have to actually go to the post office instead of doing it online. And also my internet is still an issue. I'm getting Starlink though. That's like really popular out here. And I think it's because Spectrum has to actually come out here and dig up the ground, put cables in, and all, not even just Spectrum, any internet and cable entity out there has to do that, and that could take months. And I'm like, you know what, Starlink is a little bit pricey, but we need internet now, and it is what it is. We can change it down the road if we need to, but I hear good things about Starlink, so hopefully it works great for us. And you know, we bought the equipment, so if we move again, God forbid, because I hope not, then we can take it with us. So that's one of the good parts about Starlink though. I mean, technically you could do that with Spectrum too, but it's easy installation with Starlink. From what I hear, a monkey could do it. Probably a smart monkey, a monkey that's smarter than I am. But yeah. So, after all of my rambling, we have a great head start on our build. I am now starting to place down some like landscaping that I know I'm going to want to use. I'm doing my typical landscaping here, guys. It is what it is. You can't go wrong with this landscaping combination. It works every time. It always looks so great. And yes, I am playing in fall still. It is fall in real life, which means I'm going to be playing in fall in The Sims until I am tired of it. I just love the way that the beginning of fall looks in the game, and you have like the little piles of leaves just like sporadically falling on the ground, and I just think it is so pretty, and that color combination of the house looks so good with that like green and yellowish orangey tree that's right there in the front and the one that's in the back. I just think it looks so pretty, and no other flower would look as good as these white hydrangeas, at least in my opinion. I love these white hydrangeas. I love hydrangeas in real life. I love them in The Sims. They are just beautiful flowers. Honestly, they're even prettier in real life. The Sims, yeah, they're pretty. They just don't do them justice. They are just beautiful flowers. I really, really want to get a hydrangea plant and plant it somewhere in my yard, but I'm pretty sure they need like very minimal sunlight. That's kind of a problem here in Florida, so I guess I'm gonna have to do my research. I'm gonna have to like scope out the yard during certain times of the day and see where I could put it that has like minimal sunlight. So pretty much everywhere in my front yard is out of the question. I have like one tree in my front yard, and then in the backyard it's probably where it's gonna have to be. I'm gonna need to go out there and like scope, but that's enough of that. I'm rambling again and I can go off on a tangent, so let me stop myself now. I am pulling out some of these garden path stones from the debug catalog. I love these path stones. I did them in my build that I did a couple of videos ago, and honestly, doing like a fall type of build, even though technically this isn't a fall build, I'm just building during fall. They just look so great with the leaves right there, don't they? I just love that little detail. I think it is so, so pretty. And it almost gives, like the leaves being on the ground, it almost gives wholesome yet relaxing vibes and nostalgic vibes for some reason. I don't know. I just love the way that the leaves just look on the ground. I don't know. It's like super simple, and yet I love it. Like I'm kind of easily entertained. If I was a sim in The Sims 3, that would be one of my traits for sure. And of course, clumsy would always be number one for me. I am the clumsy simmer, and that is because I am legitly clumsy in real life, guys. That is where my name came from. Yes, very creative, I know. So I'm now inside starting on the floor plan. I knew before I got any deeper in the landscaping and the arranging of the backyard, I really wanted to make sure that I could get a good floor plan out of this house and not have to make any sort of adjustments on the outside to make it make sense on the inside, even though honestly I'm pretty good at working with what I have. I have done it to myself too many times where I completely design the outside landscaping all around the house, and then I have to go inside and do the floor plan. Well, at that point, the landscaping is already done and I am not touching it, and I'm going to make the floor plan work without adding any sort of adjustments to it. And so I pretty much just have to continue working the floor plan until I get one that works well. Of course, there will be some times where I do have to make minor adjustments on the outside, but for the most part, I can just figure it out with what I have, and that is what I ended up doing here. I am honestly, yeah, I was gonna say, I change a part of this floor plan between the living room and the kitchen. I was indecisive on if I wanted to use these arches or not. I used to love using arches in The Sims, guys, but now anymore, I am actually really loving the way that open floor plans look. And by that, I mean just having like open walls, like I did from the kitchen to the living room, and then from the kitchen to the dining room as well, where pretty much you just put a piece of wall on both sides and then you leave it completely open. I used to hate the way that that looked here in The Sims, but I don't know what it is. I love it now, and I think it works really, really good and looks really good. And I like it better than those super skinny archways. There's something about the super skinny archways that just look a little off to me, and I don't love it. And so I never use them anymore, even if I try. Like I did here. I really tried here. Also, I am one to always use some sort of platform in my builds, at least most of the time. And the archways make it kind of hard to do that flawlessly. And so leaving it open makes it a lot easier to use the platforms. I just love these platforms. Which, talking about platforms, the new pack is coming out tomorrow, guys. I can't wait to get my hands on it and build some playgrounds. I am so excited for those modular playgrounds. It looked so satisfying when they were building one on the live stream, and I just can't wait. It looks so fun. So floor plan is done. I will probably make some adjustments here and there, but for the most part it's done. I have the living room directly off the entryway, which leads to the hallway that leads to the master bedroom and the bathroom, like the guest bathroom that has the laundry room in there as well. It's kind of weird, a weird setup. You have to go from the bathroom to the laundry room, but that's the only way I could design it, to be honest. I could have made that whole area a separate room, but I kind of like the way that I designed it, so I kept it. And then on the other side, going back to the living room, you have the kitchen directly through the living room, and off to the side there's a little bit of a breakfast nook with a table that ends up having 2 chairs, and then there is the formal dining room right off of that. So it's a pretty interesting floor plan. I really love the way that it came out. And yeah, and then upstairs is all of the extra bedrooms for like the kids. And speaking of children, this house is a house full of Sims. So we have mom and dad, and then we have a teen, a child, a toddler, and twin infants. I really wanted to do 8 Sims, but I figured I would leave 1 slot open just in case if you guys download this house, if you want to have an additional baby, or if you want to get a cat or a dog or a horse. a horse in a backyard that, is not suitable for a horse. Whatever you want to do. No judgment here. I figured I'd leave at least one slot open for you guys to do with what you want with. Here's the little breakfast nook area I was talking about. I almost made this area into like a little bar, but I loved the way that this little table with that little cute tablecloth with the roses, how it looked, I just thought it looked super cute, and so I ended up keeping it. And those chairs, I can't remember what pack it's from, to be totally honest, so I'm not even gonna try to remember, but I just thought it looked so perfect with that table. And then on the other side of the table, of course, on one side you have the sliding glass door, but on the other side, I ended up putting some of those cabinets, the real tall ones that match the cabinets I used in the kitchen, which these are relatively new. They came with a base game update within the last year or so, and they are my all-time favorite cabinets in the game now. I can't help but to use them all the time. Probably too much, but you can't tell me those are not the best cabinets in the game. They have so many good swatches, and this swatch is by far my favorite. So the color scheme that I have outside, I am trying to keep inside as much as possible as well. So I have the counters that is a tan. I don't really know what color you would call that, but it's like a medium wood. And then the fridge and oven, I'm pretty sure that's from Home Chef Hustle, and it's like a sage green color. I thought it looked so good in this kitchen. And then I am going to keep the sage green notes throughout the whole house. You'll see it frequently here and there. Like in the living room, the couch that I ended up using has it's not really sage green. I think it's technically gray, but it gives like a green look almost. Like it's kind of weird. Unless I'm colorblind, but it's like a green gray, You ever seen that color in real life? I think my parents used to have a couch that color when I was a kid. Colors like that kind of drive me crazy, where it looks like one color one moment and then the next color the next moment. It irks me. My floor is kind of that way, to be honest. Like, is it gray or is it brown? I think it's brown. It's like a gray brown. So kind of the same thing. It goes the same with the green gray color. Just depends on the day, I suppose. Unless it's literally me going crazy, that could be true too. So we have made great progress on the kitchen, and I am always, for some reason, putting these pans above the oven. They look so cute to me. I really wish we had a piece of clutter that was like those oven mitts that you see on the counter just sitting there. I wish that they had 3 of them up on the wall. If you are a Sims 2 lover like I am, then you probably remember they had that in The Sims 2. And I absolutely loved that thing. I loved that piece of clutter. I used it all the time. And if we had it here in The Sims 4, I would use it all the time here. But unfortunately, we don't. We only have them just sitting on the counter for some reason. But something about this kitchen that is a little bit different than I usually do. I have a little coffee / espresso bar area off to the corner. So I figured Dad, probably Mom and Dad, but specifically Dad, he is a huge coffee fiend, which I'm pretty sure that is one of those lifestyles from Snowy Escape. I don't know if fiend is the word for the coffee one, because I think it's junk food fiend, but you guys know what I mean. The one where you're addicted to coffee, I figured Dad is super addicted to coffee, which kind of goes with his profession. So he doesn't have a normal, quote unquote, normal job per se. He works from home. You'll see here shortly that I actually put a shed sort of thing in the backyard, and that is where Dad works. He actually teaches handiness classes, like woodworking bench classes, and so I put the whiteboard from businesses and hobbies in there, and then I put 4 different woodworking benches, and then I decorated it up like a workshop sort of thing. And I actually like the way it came out. It really looks like a workshop. It looks like a man's workshop. There's tools and wood everywhere, and random fans and a bunch of different stuff. I really tried to make it look like a man set it up and not, a woman. Which I'm not trying to sound sexist, but I mean, we can all agree on the fact that men like a manly man that loves working on his wood bench with his bare hands. He doesn't care about designing a house or his work shed. He's just gonna place things everywhere. Kind of like my husband, for instance, and my dad. Pretty much most men in my life, they go for what works the best versus what looks the best. And I feel like women are the opposite. At least I am. And so is my sister, and so is my mom. So I don't know, maybe it's just our family, but yeah. But moral of the story is the fact that I can so picture this dad coming in here and making his morning cup of coffee and going right out to start his work in his shed in the backyard, and then continues coming back in throughout the day to make some more coffee. Like, that is his area right there. He absolutely loves that little coffee bar. Mom will drink it too. She's pretty much good for 1 cup of coffee in the morning, and then that's it. Dad will be seen going in there from the moment he gets up in the morning to the moment he goes to bed at night. Like, he is a coffee addict, 100%. No in between. He needs his caffeine or else he cannot function. So that is pretty much it as far as the kitchen, breakfast nook, and dining room goes. We might make some adjustments here and there, but for the most part, it pretty much stays the same. I don't think there's anyone that absolutely loves to cook here in this house, but the kitchen is always the heart of the home. They have many kids, and so I still love to decorate the kitchen as much as possible, just like I did here. They're my favorite room to decorate, and you could probably see that with how decorated I make it. I did leave the island blank. I have the sink there, but the rest of it's just blank. There's no extra decorations or clutter on there, and I did that purposely. You'll see me later in the build try to put some things on the island, but I just delete it. I feel like I really love the way it looks clean, and then all of the clutter is on the counters that's against the wall. And so that gives you plenty of space for your Sims to be able to cook at those island counters right there. And there's at least 2 that they're able to cook on, which means that mom can have one of her kids helping her cook at all times. Because, you know, mom doesn't necessarily love to cook, but she's a mom and her kids have to eat. And so does her husband, and so does she. So if she didn't have kids, honestly, she would probably order out all the time or just eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. She really, honestly, would rather not be bothered to cook, but when you're a mom, your kids have to eat, right? So I can definitely see this mom having a different child every day help her with cooking, for sure. And of course, when mom doesn't feel like cooking, of course, dad steps in. But between you and me, he is a terrible cook, and nobody likes his food anyway, so he's pretty much good to make coffee in the morning and throughout the day, and he can make a bowl of cereal. He can make a mean bowl of cereal, but that's about it. So I am still working on the living room, but I am taking a break from that to add a bunch of light switches, which is something that I haven't done until recently. So I made the brand new house that my husband and I bought. I ended up making the exact house on The Sims, and I posted it a few videos ago. So if you're interested in seeing that, definitely go check it out, but you don't have to. I mean, you might not care, and I don't blame you. But since I was making it the exact replica as much as possible anyways, I put light switches throughout the house. And you know how light switches are usually cluttered in like groups of 1, 2, or 3, maybe even more. I did that in that build, and I came to a realization that I absolutely loved the way that looked. I usually cannot be bothered with these light switches. I feel like it's just a lot of work, to be honest, and I used to think it was unnecessary, but after I did that build, I feel like it gave it such a good detail, and it stepped up the realistic aspect of it, which all of my returning viewers, you guys know how I feel about realistic in The Sims. I love it. It's my thing, okay? I love it so much. And so once I did that build, I came to the realization that I love light switches. So now if I feel like being bothered by it, I definitely add them. I feel like it gives it a really nice touch. You see it off in the corner right there with the security system right there. I just love the way it looks. And it looks like, you know, there's 3 swatches there, so all 3 of those swatches, they go to different lights. I mean, are they actually functional? No. This is The Sims. You should know better than that. But they're good for, detail. Which, speaking of detail, I always love to add some sort of bench or ottoman with like mirrors here in the entryway, and I still did that ottoman/bench. And instead of mirrors, above it I added the security system with the light switches, and then underneath the bench, I thought it was such a cute idea to put pairs of shoes there. Like, I love that touch. It looks like the mom is like a super neat person, and she said, no shoes in my house, put them right there under the bench, which is a great idea, honestly. Like, I have noticed a difference between like allowing me and my husband to wear shoes inside versus no shoes inside. Shoes track dirt absolutely everywhere, so I get it for sure. It's just, I hate the way shoes look just thrown by the front door. I feel like that looks kind of trashy too. So having like some sort of bench by the front door with the shoes under it neatly, I feel like that's a great alternative to people just throwing them there. So I'm currently just decorating this little hallway right here with a hall table with some random pieces of clutter on top of it. I actually really like the way that I decorated this hall table, and I love the hall table itself. It's worth noting that it is super cute. I love the way that it's designed. It's actually from the Crystal Creations kit, which is interesting, but I think it looks so pretty. And detail, I love it. It's an older style, don't get me wrong, but it's super like, I don't know, there's something about it that I love. It's my favorite hall table in the game. I don't know what else to say. And it also matches the furniture that I used in the living room. And the living room is done. Right now I am placing a crib. It's like one of those playpen cribs that look like you can put it up, take it down in like 5 minutes. I love adding those in my family houses. It, for one, is super useful if you have a 2-story house and you have your infant's room upstairs. Then you have an additional sleeping area for your infant downstairs in the living room, where both parents are probably running around doing chores or sitting down watching TV. They're on the bottom story of the house most of the time, and so it's just super convenient to have an additional crib downstairs, and it gives it a realistic aspect. More times than not, I feel like people with children, like infant age specifically, they have like an extra playpen in the living room so that they can put their baby down for a nap more conveniently, And so, yeah, I mean, I add them frequently. This is not the first time I've done it. Won't be the last. And I explain this every time I place it, so the returning viewers are probably tired of hearing it, but I really enjoy it, and so I always feel the need to explain it off. One other thing that I really tried to make work in the living room was adding like a sectioned off area for the infants to stay, and then put some like toys in there, building blocks, where the mom could put them and not have to worry about them. Pretty much like a legit play pen area. But in order to do that, you need such a large space to put the fence there, because it's, tied to the grid. So you can't put it in between the grid lines, which is a little bit of a pet peeve for me. It makes it a little hard to use those specific fences that came with Growing Together, I think, or at least the update for Growing Together, the update for infants. And so, yeah, I just couldn't figure out how to make it work. It really was too tight of a fit, didn't look right, but I really want to build a house based off of having like a little like play area for my infants. Which is kind of crazy to build a whole house just for that, but it is what it is. You have to plan ahead if you want to do something like that, for sure, because of the way the fences are. One last thing I want to say about the living room is the fact that I forgot to put pillows on the couches, and that drives me absolutely crazy. I really wanted to go back and add some pillows on top of those couches. I think it adds just a detail that is definitely missed if you don't include the pillows, but it's fine. It's not the end of the world, so it's fine. But that does lead me to say that I noticed one of the quest items you can receive if you do the current quest that's out, which is the imaginary friend one, a journey or something like that. I don't remember the name of it, but one of the items that you can receive it is another pillow. It's an interesting looking pillow, at least as far as I can see, because I haven't actually done the quest yet. I'm thinking about doing it today because why not? I kind of want to get those items before the new pack comes out, and it's coming out tomorrow as we speak, so I'll probably end up doing that quest today so that I can get the items that are out now, which is a good majority of the items. I think it's technically halfway done as of now. I could be wrong, but that's what I think anyways. The main thing I want to get is that pillow, to be honest. And I use the stuffed animal in this build, and I think that stuffed animal is so stinking cute. I think that's my new favorite stuffed toy in the game, like one of the large ones. It's like a little like imaginary friend looking thing. Like it looks like a thing. You know that movie, The Things or something like that? Let me look that up. Hold up. I think that's the name of the movie. Okay, I looked it up. It is the name of a movie, but not the movie I'm talking about at all. So don't look it up. It was kind of ugly and creepy looking, but there's some sort of movie out there that is based off of imaginary friends. And if you have ever seen the music video that goes with Never Forget You by Zara Larsson, which is an older song, you know, it's not old. It came out when I was a teenager and I'm 28, so I guess it's not that old. It was out in the 2010s era, and that video shows the imaginary friend sort of thing that I am trying to describe, and that is what this stuffed animal looks like. But it has like a little sprout on top of its head, and it is just so adorable. I love it so much. And there's a lot of different cute swatches, but I use the main one, the blue one that like it defaults as, is the one that I end up using in the kids room. But yeah, I just think it's super cute. That is actually the very first item that you get to unlock. You don't even have to do the quest and you get that item, so that's kind of cool. But hopefully the pillow that I'm aiming to unlock is as cute as that imaginary friend is, and it looks pretty cute. It looks a little slouchy, which I feel like is a good addition. It's not like a perfectly neat pillow, it's like a slouchy pillow, so I kind of enjoy that. I'm curious what the different swatches on that pillow is, so by the time you see my next video, I'll probably have it unlocked. At least that's the goal. Okay, but as I was explaining that, I was doing the bathroom, and I really wanted to talk about the bathroom as I was doing it, but I guess better late than never. I will talk about it as I am designing Dad's workshop. So I made this bathroom super detailed compared to bathrooms I normally do. I usually just, I don't really like doing bathrooms, to be totally honest, and you could totally see that in the bathrooms that I do. I kind of just keep it basic, you know, toilet, shower, or tub, or both, and a sink, and then I call it a day. I might add some like towels on the walls or whatever, but I really took some time to decorate not only the master bathroom, but the other bathrooms, at least the one downstairs as well. I made them a little bit more detailed than I usually do, especially the master bathroom. I think that one turned out so good. I love the way that I have the tub sectioned off and it's up on a platform. And don't worry, your sim can get into the bathtub still, even though it's up on a platform. I love the fact that your sim can do that. I honestly thought your sim wouldn't be able to get up on the platform to get in the tub, but it was a nice surprise that they can. And I used this super expensive, like 12,000 simoleon bathtub. I never use it, but it was a nice chance to be able to use it here. I wanted to use the big garden tub, and you probably see me try to place it around different locations, but yeah, that tub is so big that I couldn't make it work because I really wanted to add a double shower too, which is something that I started doing kind of recently in my bathrooms because I'm trying to expand my horizons, guys. I'm trying to make the bathrooms look more interesting than just the triple threat is what I like to call it. Well, I kind of just made it up, but you know, the the three typical things that a bathroom usually has. So I'm trying to expand my horizons a little bit. So what I've started doing in the master bathroom specifically is adding like a double shower head. And I'm using the shower heads that are like single without walls so that you can really design it to your liking. And I put one on each side, and I could totally see a married couple taking a shower at the same time, but also having their own shower head. I love that thought. I actually looked at a house in real life that had a double shower head, but it was kind of right next to each other instead of one on each side of the walls, which is interesting. But I did not end up getting that house. That was kind of the only thing that I liked about the house. So why would I get a house that I like the shower and nothing else? So anyways, I've really enjoyed doing that here in The Sims, and then I started putting my own shower curtains in a way. Like, I started getting the regular wall or window curtains that you find in the curtain catalog, and then I find one that's like straight down and it's not tied up or anything, and then I put it in front of the area you walk into the shower. And yeah, your sim doesn't actually move the curtain to walk in, they just walk straight through it. But you know what? We can use our imagination. It looks good, and that is what matters the most to me anyways, is how it looks. And I can ignore the fact that your sim just walks through it. It's kind of like the wreath when you put it on the front door. Your sim opens the front door and the wreath is just standing there floating in midair. I mean, I can ignore things like that. At least it looks good, right? Hopefully you guys feel the same way. Hopefully it doesn't annoy you. But yeah, so with all that being said, I tried really hard to make this master bathroom unique, and I really love the way that it came out. It looks super relaxing. Oh, and in front of the tub, I also put like a stool, and then I put some Vitality nectar on top of it, and like a nectar glass, and a candle, and it looked so relaxing. It looks like mom's favorite spot to like unwind after a long day and just relax. And maybe, you know, that Vitality nectar, I'm pretty sure it gets them all in a good mood, so I'm sure Dad likes it too. Which, speaking of Dad, I just got done furnishing his shed/workshop back in the backyard. That is where he makes his living at, and he teaches handiness classes, and I really enjoy the way that it came out. It has the big whiteboard, which I did play test, so your sim should be able to use it. Now, I did not actually get the students, I guess you could call it, in the classroom. I didn't bring any outside sims in, is basically what I'm trying to say. And so it should continue working. I just play tested the whiteboard itself, and your sim can in fact teach from it, so everything else should be fine. But yeah, I mean, all in all, it's a basic workshop is what I tried my hardest to do. I did include a shelf. I figured that is where either the work that Dad teaches, that is his showcase of it, or that is his students' area where they put their finished products on to finish curing. If they like glaze it with a glaze to make it last longer, that is where they put it to cure at. That's kind of my thought on it. And on like the back wall by the front door, I also included like this pile of wood. I really love the idea of the students going to that pile of wood and grabbing any sort of piece of wood that they need to create the object that they need to create. I just really like that thought. I think it's super cute, and I could totally see that functioning the way I intended it to. So that's always a good thing, you know, that it works out the way you want it to. But we are now in the master bedroom, and I struggled with what I wanted to do here in the master bedroom. I ended up making it into Mom's workshop. So Mom, she is a professional painter, and she owns her own business. She doesn't do any classes or anything, which would be a good idea. You could probably, if you wanted to, rearrange Dad's workshop to make it into like a painting studio as well. And I don't know. I decided against that though. I made that dad's little sanctuary instead, and this is mom's sanctuary. She really doesn't have an interest in teaching classes. She really just loves the relaxation she gets from painting her paintings herself. And then she makes really good money selling them off. She sells them in the city. In San Myshuno, she goes and sells them at like the different events that they hold there. And she also just sells them off of Plopsy, or she just sells them right away. Like, people just come to her doorstep and buys her paintings. At least that's what it seems like anyways when you play the actual game. But nonetheless, Mom, she is a huge painter and she just loves spending her days here while the kids are at school, and she has a babysitter over to watch the infants and the toddler, and she comes here every day and paints to her heart content. And I also put a sculpture of like a man's torso on the dresser. I could totally see Mom creating that sculpture. Now, I don't have a pottery table anywhere in this build, so this is definitely to your imagination, but I could totally see Mom creating Dad's torso and putting it up on display in the room. It kind of reminds me of that scene from Grumpier Old Men where the one old man is sitting there naked while his wife is creating him and molding him with like clay or whatever she uses. And then later in the movie, the other old man, they kind of battle back and forth. I'm sure you guys probably heard of the movie. If not, definitely look it up. It's such a cute, wholesome movie. And they have like a competition back and forth of who can make whose life more miserable, basically. And the one old man who was being sculpted by his wife naked was being filmed by the other old man. And later in the movie, they have that little competition, and the one old man that recorded the other one ends up putting it on all of the TV screens in like a warehouse in the electronics department. You know how there's so many TVs and they all play the same video? At least that's how it used to be. I don't think it's like that anymore, but back in the day when I was a kid, that's how it was. And during the scene of the movie, the one old man that recorded the one that was naked, he put that recording up on the TV for all of the customers in the store to see, and it's just hilarious. I definitely recommend that movie if you like cute, wholesome movies like that. Definitely watch it. It's super good. There's like grumpy old men, then there's grumpier old men, and the second one, it's better than the first in my opinion. But yeah, definitely go check it out. But the reason why I'm even explaining that is because of the sculpture in the room. That reminds me of that movie. I think it is so funny. But I did get the guest bathroom downstairs furnished and the laundry room, and it is what it is. There's really not much need for explanation. I have a shower tub combo so that you can give your infant or toddler a bath. And I'm pretty sure I include a shower tub combo upstairs in that bathroom upstairs as well. And then the laundry room, like I was saying earlier, it's kind of weird because you have to walk into the spare bathroom to get to the laundry room, but it is what it is. It's what I could figure out, and it's just really how the floor plan laid itself out. I really enjoy the way it looks though. I love that laundry room. Super simple, but super cute. And same with the bathroom. I love it. But we are finally done with the downstairs, and we are now upstairs working on all of the kids' bedrooms as well as the additional bathroom upstairs. I think, oh yeah, here I am. I am adding a trellis ladder to the balcony upstairs. I really love to do this, especially in households where I have teenagers. Part of high school years, I'm sure you guys know by now, but your teen can actually sneak out if you have high school years. And so I really love adding the trellis from the second story to the first story. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word. I love adding the trellis from the second story to the bottom story so that it gives like the story that the teen uses that trellis to sneak out at night. I really love that idea. And I could totally see this teen. He loves his friends. He always loves hanging out with his friends. And you know, on school nights, his parents don't let him do that. So what he does is sneaks out at night so that he can go hang out with his friends or his girlfriend or whoever it is. He just loves to sneak out and be naughty like that. But he's a relatively good kid at the end of the day. He does pretty good in school, and he is actually on the football team at his high school, and he is working to become the captain. He's not the captain yet, but he's working really, really hard to become the captain. And I actually include a fitness machine in his room. I really pictured this teen taking his health very seriously. Once he becomes an adult or once he goes to university, he wants to study whatever he needs to study to become a famous sports player, and he really wants to work to not only be the captain of his football team in high school, but he also wants to be the captain of this sports team in university as well. And then, of course, when he graduates university, he wants to become a professional sports player. So that is where his interests are. I actually really like the way that I designed the teen's room too. It's a little bit of a different color scheme than I'm used to doing for teen boys. I used that bed from high school years that has like the Copperdale school mascot on it. Since he is really wanting to become the captain of the football team, it just makes sense that he has a lot of school spirit, right? And so I did that bedspread. I never use it either, so I took this opportunity to do that. And then I took the colors in the bedspread itself and used them as well as I could to decorate the rest of the room. So the walls, I'm pretty sure I ended up doing 2 different hues of blue. I kind of was going back and forth on doing like beige and blues as a combination, but I'm pretty sure I ended up doing like a light blue and like more of a turquoise-ish blue. And then the curtains, I used this greenish color that I think tied the room really well together. And then of course the fitness machine, I used the same green as the curtain. So the whole room works really, really well together. I really enjoy the way the color scheme came out. Definitely different than I'm used to doing, and in a good way. And then the infant's room, I decided to go ahead and get out of the way because infant's room, you can only do so much with the infant's room, but I tried to keep it gender neutral so that you can have either both genders in there or one or the other. You can have your choice. And I used the cribs from Storybook Nursery Kit. I love those cribs. I think they're so adorable. And I used the neutral swatch. And then they have like little gold bows on the side of the cribs, like bars. I just really love those cribs. I think they're adorable. And then of course a changing table and a toy box, and really that is about it. And then I put some mobiles above the cribs as well. So I just got done decorating the upstairs bathroom. Really nothing to say there other than the fact that I did put some robes right in front of the shower, and I figured one was for the teen, so I did one blue, and then the other one I sized it down and I made it purple for the child. I feel like that is such a cute little touch. It really shows that it's different age groups using those towels, you know? Sometimes I'll even size the robes down another size so that it looks like an infant or a toddler is using it, but I didn't do that here. I figured they don't need a robe. Even though it's so cute putting a little baby in like a little like robe that has a duck on it, and you put the hood over his head or her head, and I love those little robes. Babies in little robes are just so cute. Babies are cute in anything though, so what can I say? They could be wearing a paper bag and it would be adorable. Am I wrong? Honestly, I don't think so. But we're over in the child's room and I'm doing like a bluish purple sort of color combination in this child's room. And I love blue and purple together. I think it's so cute. And of course, I'm using the same high school years rug underneath the computer desk chair like I always do. I don't know what's wrong with me. I can't stop doing that. I just think it's super cute to have different rugs, especially in children's rooms. I really try to make a child's room look super busy because I feel like that's realistic. Children love to have things everywhere in their room, and this particular child absolutely loves exploring their creative side, kind of like their mom. So I put a creativity table in. No, what I ended up doing was, no, she doesn't like exploring her creative side. She likes exploring her mental side. She really loves to work on her mental table, and that is why I ended up putting one in her room. She really wants to become the smartest kid in her class, and she doesn't have straight A's at the moment, but she's really working hard to achieve that. And I use one of those posters from high school years that has like the genius symbol on there. It's super cute. I love that. And then the dresser that I ended up using is actually from kids' room stuff, and I used to use this dresser all the time, but I overused it, so I stopped, but I chose to use it here, and I used the swatch that has like little pictures on the front. I think it's so stinking cute. And then I put a shelf next to her bed with like, I used the certain shelf that has like, I think it's from kids' room stuff also. It has like a purse and different things like that and like a picture at the top. And I also just put some random clutter pieces on top of that. I am pretty sure I ended up putting the plant from Comfy Gamer Kit as well as some makeup up there. And I almost added a creativity table in the middle of the floor between the bed and desk area and her mental table, but my sim could not go around it, and I don't have a child here to play test, and so I decided just to stick with the safe side and do away with that creativity table. I almost did this makeshift rocket ship, but that didn't fit either for some reason, so here I am. I finally added that super cute imaginary friend stuffed animal that I was talking about earlier. How cute is that? With the little sprout on top of its head. I think it's so adorable. I love it. I'm probably going to use it all the time now. But that's pretty much it as far as the child's room goes. She has one of the only computers in the house in her room, and then I put an additional computer upstairs by the staircase because I needed an additional computer somewhere, and that's the only place it would fit. And since we have twin infants in this house, I did not want to forget to add a couple of high chairs in the dining room, and I placed them at the table. And I am about 99.9% sure that your sim should be able to place them there, feed them there, and clean it at the same, not really at the same time, but all together, you know what I mean? So it should work, 99.9% sure. So if it doesn't work, I'm sorry. So we are now working on the toddler's room, and I did it for a little girl. I don't know. I really just, at this point in time, you can tell I'm getting closer to the end of the build because I start moving a little bit quicker. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel and I'm almost done, so I'm like, let's hurry up and do this. And at this point, when I was building that night, I was ready to go to bed, to be totally honest. So I am finally finished with all of the kids' rooms, and I struggled a little bit with what to do in this area until I realized I only had one computer in the kids' room, and that's when I'm like, you know what, I have to do what I have to do, and I'm adding a computer desk. And I could only fit like a single desk in between those two doors, but I actually think it looks really, really nice. And I also added like a notebook and some books behind it just to fill it up a little bit and make it look like it's actually a used space. And then when in doubt, if you don't know what to put on the wall in a certain space and it's a super small area, use these picture frames from Growing Together. I'm telling you, they look good no matter what, and you can use them no matter what. If you play in the house, in any house, if you play The Sims in general, and you're like a major family game player, even if you don't play with families, if you're playing the game itself with Sims, more times than not, you're going to have your Sims take pictures of either themselves, other things in the game, or them with a family member or friend or whatever. So those picture frames are always useful in my opinion. As you're playing, you could plop pictures right in there, and I think it's perfect. I love those picture frames. Which also reminds me that another item that you can get if you play the Imaginary Friend quest that's out now is an additional tabletop frame. So you guys know, I need to get that frame. I will be using it all the time. We needed a tabletop empty picture frame that I could place somewhere, and so I'm super excited about that. There was actually a lot of really good items in this quest, a lot better than the last quest. I never actually finished the last quest that was for Enchanted by Nature. It just was not a lot of items that I would ever use, and so I didn't really want to waste my time by playing the quest out. I wanted to for a little bit, but towards the end I'm like, you know what, I'm so busy and it's just not even worth it for those items, so screw it. But this quest is definitely different. It has a lot of really good items that I do not want to miss at all. But we are finally done with the inside of our build, and we are now finishing up the outside, and I'm working on the backyard now. So we have the shed that I designed earlier, and as far as the rest of the lot, I'm really just adding landscaping. I'm adding those garden path stones, and then I end up putting a swing set over by the tree. I do away with the monkey bar set. I'm pretty sure there's some in the background somewhere in this neighborhood. If not, well, you know what? I don't think there is. But this child, I don't see her going outside and playing outside that often, and if she does, she's probably just gonna swing a little bit. So instead of the monkey bars, I end up adding some garden plots, and that's about it. I don't know. I really didn't know what to do in that area, but I knew I did not want to add a pool because I always add pools, and it was a nice change not to add pools here, especially since I'm building in fall time. It just looks really good without the pool. And I can't believe I'm saying that. I usually love to add pools in The Sims, but not here. I thought it looked better without it. And in that back corner where the oak tree is, you can see a lot of leaves on the ground, and that's what I was talking about earlier. I just love the leaves just speckled on the ground during the fall time in the game. It's just so pretty. I love it. And so yeah, I mean, the rest of the time I'm just going to pretty much do terrain paint. I do end up putting a patio table and chairs, like a bench with an umbrella above it, and then a grill, and that's really all I put on the back porch. And yeah, I mean, this is pretty much the build. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Of course, if you did, please do not forget to leave a like. It helps my channel, and also share this with your friends. If they are Simmers just like you and I, then definitely share it with them. Share the love, guys. I appreciate it so much, more than you would ever know. I really just can't even explain it, to be honest. But I hope you all have an amazing day or night. Happy New Pack Eve. We have Adventure Awaits coming out tomorrow, and I cannot be more excited. Hopefully I am able to get a build done with Adventure Awaits and post it for you guys on Friday. That is the goal anyways. I hope you all have an amazing day or night. Have so much fun exploring the new pack tomorrow when it comes out. I will see you all on Friday. Bye guys.